say something clearly, but your words just... Have you ever been in a conversation where it feels like you're speaking a completely different language from the person standing right in front of you? I mean, you say something clearly, but your words just seem to bounce right off them, like there's some invisible force field between you. It's incredibly frustrating, right? You walk away thinking, why didn't they just listen to me? Well, today we're going to figure out exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how we can actually fix it.
Welcome to this explainer on the art of getting heard. Today, we're diving into the hidden mechanics of human communication using a really fascinating psychological framework called transactional analysis. To bring this to life, we're going to follow a case study of two coworkers, Kavya and Sam. Now, right now, they're separated by a literal communication wall, but stick around because by the end of this explainer, we're going to give them and you the absolute ultimate cheat code for tearing that wall down for good.
So let's jump straight into Section 1, the communication wall and why Kavya and Sam just can't seem to connect.
Picture this incredibly relatable office friction. Kavya is staring down a massive 5 p.m. deadline to fix a project layout, and she is just completely stressed out. She urgently tells him, "We need to fix this project layout by 5 p.m." But across the room, Sam is slumped back in his chair, totally glued to his smartphone. His internal response? Just, yeah, whatever. I mean, the words are spoken out loud, but nothing is actually being communicated. Why is that? It's because they aren't just missing each other's points, they are entirely missing each other's wavelengths. To help us break this down, we're bringing in an expert guide for this explainer. Let's call him the coach. And he's going to reveal the secret code running right beneath this exact conversation.
Moving on to Section 2, meet your ego states, or the voices inside your head.
Okay, so to actually tear down this communication wall, we have to understand a pretty mind-bending concept. Inside our brains, we're actually three different people. These are the distinct voices inside your head that are governing literally every interaction you have. And this brings us right to the core of our explainer, transactional analysis, or TA for short. This is a brilliant psychological theory developed by Dr. Eric Berne. You can think of Dr. Berne's discovery kind of like uncovering the source code, or the hidden matrix, of human interaction. He figured out that we don't just have one static personality. Instead, we constantly shift between three distinct modes, which he called ego states. And this depends entirely on who we're talking to and how we're feeling in that exact moment.
Let's walk through this matrix of our three ego states. First up, at the top, we have the parent. This state is literally copied behavior from your actual caregivers when you were young. When you're in the parent state, your tone might be critical, like when you're scolding someone, saying, "You should know better." Or it can be nurturing, which sounds a lot more overprotective, like, "Oh, let me just fix that for you." Then, right in the middle, we have the adult. This is basically your inner data processor. When you speak from the adult state, your voice is calm, it's curious, and totally objective. The adult state doesn't lecture, it doesn't throw tantrums, it just evaluates the reality of the here and now. And finally, down at the bottom, we have the child. Now, this isn't really about being immature, it's an emotional replay from your youth. The child can be adapted, which comes out sounding defensive and rebellious like, "Stop telling me what to do." Or it can be natural, which is that really joyful, spontaneous, raw part of you. The crazy thing is, we are all just bouncing between these three states all day long.
Which brings us to Section 3, why communication breaks down. We're looking at crossed arrows and hidden traps.
Let's bring Kavya and Sam back into the picture here and see exactly where things went off the rails. What's happening here is what transactional analysis calls a crossed transaction. Kavya is incredibly stressed out, right? So she slipped into her critical parent state. She basically shoots a verbal arrow down at Sam saying, "You never update the spreadsheet on time." Now here's the thing, when you speak to someone like a scolding parent, human psychology dictates that you're almost automatically going to trigger their defensive inner child, and that is exactly what happens to Sam. His inner child gets triggered, and he shoots a jagged, aggressive arrow right back. "Stop nagging me, I have a million other things to do." The arrows cross, and when this happens, communication completely locks up. Nobody's actually listening to the other person anymore. They're literally just playing out a parent-child argument.
But it gets even trickier when we look at the ulterior transaction. This is the hidden trap of communication. Let's say Sam is presenting a really messy slide. Kavya smiles politely and says, "Wow, that's a very creative layout." But hanging right beneath those spoken words floats this dark, shadowy subtext cloud. Her true psychological message is really, "This looks like a toddler drew it." Here's the thing about ulterior transactions. Human beings are incredibly perceptive. When you say one thing but mean another, people instantly smell that hidden judgment. Their inner child detects your hidden critical parent, and boom, they completely stop listening to your actual words. The trust is just instantly gone.
All right, let's get into Section 4,
The adult solution.